So today we're going to be talking about 10 things I don't spend money on. So stick around. Hello fellow wealth builders and welcome back to the True Financials channel. My name is Dennis, and if you are new here, we love to talk about personal finance, investing, and retirement to help build your wealth. So definitely consider subscribing today, and don't forget to hit that little bell icon to get notifications when new videos and live streams go up. All right, so this list of 10 things I do not spend money on is a compilation of things that I looked at that, we don't generally spend money on and then other people might actually spend on. But this is not about, things that I'm doing right versus things that other people are doing wrong. These are just the things that we just see ourselves not spending money on. So let me know in the comment section down below, maybe what are some of the things that are very common for other people to spend money on that you currently aren't spending money on. So the first thing that I do not spend money on is a credit score. Now, I know a lot of people like to check out their credit scores and see what it's at, but there's two things with this. So first off, a lot of banks nowadays are actually adding this as a great service to your banking. So you're gonna actually be able to see what your credit score is without having to worry about paying for it. Now, I know Capital One does this with, I think it's called CreditWise, where you can actually see what your credit score is without having to actually pay for it. So definitely check and see if your bank offers this feature, because that can save you money if you are currently spending money on checking your credit score. And then the other thing with the credit score is I actually tend to care more about the credit report versus the actual credit score, because the report actually has a lot more detailed information that can be critical to where your score is actually at that given time. So looking at the report, I believe, is a lot more efficient than actually looking at the overall score. And there is a way for you to actually get your free credit report every single year. And if you haven't done so before, check out this video up here that I'll link for you, so that way you can get your free credit report. All right, so number 2 is going to be bank fees and ATM fees. Now, I know you're probably thinking, like, Dennis, of course I don't want to pay for bank fees, but some people are doing that. If you're wanting to have multiple checking accounts or multiple savings accounts, a lot of banks nowadays are charging additional fees to be able to have those accounts open. So I'm not a big fan of that. There's a lot of different options when it comes to online banking nowadays that you can actually save some more money by not having to pay those extra fees. And when it comes to ATM fees, I definitely don't want to be paying to get my money out of that machine. Now, the great thing is with the bank that I have online, which is the Capital One 360, they actually have a ton of free ATMs where I don't have to pay money to be able to pull my money out, and that does include international. And I will have a separate video talking about that and how it works internationally for the Capital One 360 account. But to get back into this, I definitely don't want to pay money when it comes to pulling my money out of ATM. So I don't spend money on ATM fees or bank fees. So next up, number 3 is going to be paying for cable. It's been many years since I've actually had cable, and I do understand a lot of people love cable and love to watch their TV shows. The biggest TV channel that we love to watch is HGTV, but it's not really worth it for us to be paying that amount of money every single month to be able to watch one television channel every single week. So for us, we definitely cut that out. We do have Netflix, which actually we don't even pay for because T-Mobile has that covered for us as well. So we do still get our video entertainment value. So the next thing I don't spend money on is buying new clothes. Now, of course, occasionally we do have to replace certain things as they get worn out, but I don't go out of my way to actually buy new clothes. But even if we do have to end up buying some new clothes, we'll tend to go to places such as Ross or TJ Maxx, so that way we can get the most value out of our money and be able to spend less on clothing, because again, we don't necessarily look for actually buying new clothes every single week, every single month, only when it's necessary. All right, so while I was editing this video that you're currently watching, unfortunately number 5 had some audio issues that I now have to record it this format because I just want to make it as simple as possible. So number 5 was actually going to be spending money at vending machines and convenience stores. Now, just for me personally, I don't like the idea of having to spend so much more money to get a product that I can find at a much cheaper price at the grocery store. Now, I do understand the convenience of convenience stores and vending machines, but for a majority of the time, I think that we can usually just kind of mitigate that cost. So I work at a retail store that actually has vending machines for associates to be able to utilize, and I see people buying stuff every single day. A lot of times it's those same people where if they just go to the grocery store, buy that stuff, have it set aside at home, and then just bring it with them every single day, can save them a ton of money. But again, that's just my way of looking at it. I would rather just buy those things, set them at home, and then bring them every single day with me to work, so that way I can save money and not spend as much. So I just do not spend money at the convenience stores or the vending machines. So now back to the original video. So number 6 is going to be eating at sit-down restaurants. We do not spend money going out to eat very often. If you actually watch our budget videos, you'll see that on an average month, we spend anywhere from $25 to $35 eating out. So we tend to go to like fast food restaurants or places where it's a lot less money when it comes to trying to get food versus sit-down restaurants, because the cost is much higher for us. We do sometimes go on like very, very special occasions, but when it comes for us to actually go to a sit-down restaurant, it's not something we go out of our way to do. Number 7 is buying new cars. The last time I actually bought a new car was back when I was 17 years old, so well over 11 years ago. And my wife, I believe, was 18 years old when she bought her brand new car. So we're not very interested in spending money on things that go down in value, especially when they're brand new. So if we ever have to buy a car, we definitely look into the used category, because one, it can save us a ton of money, and then two, we always had to consider that, you know, cars go down in value, so it's a liability versus an actual asset in that regard. So number 8 is going to be buying new phones every single year. We definitely are not part of that group that buys a new phone every single year. We try to use our phones until we run it into the ground, even to the point where if our battery starts to not keep charge or our phones get cracked, I actually go out of my way to get those fixed on my own, so that way, one, it saves us money, but then two, it keeps those phones going until we actually need to upgrade our phones, and then we can actually go ahead and spend that money. But we try to hold off as much as possible, so usually 2 to 3 years is every single time we upgrade our phones. So number 9 is spending money on boxes, and I mean that by 2 different ways. The first way is by spending money on boxes that we need to ship things out in, and that's of course from boxes that we get from Amazon when we purchase our regular every single day items. So we save a lot of those boxes aside, so that way we can ship things in those without having to actually go to, you know, the post office or somewhere else to actually buy those boxes. And then the second way is when we are moving around. So we've actually moved a couple different times before, whether it was my wife moving into an apartment and then here into this house, we actually ended up getting boxes from retail stores. And I had the luxury of actually working in a retail store where we had tons of boxes where every single day we'd be throwing them out. So I was able to save those aside. But in the future, if that ever happens where we are moving out of this home, I'll actually go to different people that I personally know in the retail world where I can ask them, hey, can I take some boxes? Because a lot of times those companies will just end up throwing a ton of those boxes away, where you can get those entirely for free and not have to buy them from anywhere else. And number 10, and this one is a big one for me, is not buying name brand. Now that's not saying I don't buy name brands on certain things, but I would say on the majority of the things that I do buy, I don't worry about the brand of the actual thing, but more of the quality of that item and obviously the pricing. So there are some items that can be very low quality and low price, and I definitely don't want to go with those. But there are some that are maybe, you know, a little bit less quality than the name brand, but a lot less cheaper in that aspect as well. So if you've actually watched my grocery videos, I do talk about this a lot when I go grocery shopping, where I don't worry about the names of the brands that are making the product. I worry more so about the price and then the quality of that item. So a lot of times with those store branded items, they actually give you the 100% satisfaction guarantee, where you can actually bring those products back. But just in general sense, with anything else, I always not worry about the actual name brand of the product. I just worry about the quality. And if the quality means I can save some more money, I definitely go that route versus going with name brand. Especially when it comes to like clothes, I really don't care who makes the shirts. I just care about that it feels comfortable and it was a decent price. So those were the 10 things that I don't spend money on. As I mentioned earlier in the video, leave me a comment in the comment section down below. Maybe give me 1 or 2 different things that you don't spend money on that you think a lot of other people do. I'd love to hear your guys' stories and comments in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this video, definitely hit that like button. Thank you so much, fellow wealth builders, for watching, and have a great day. All right, if you made it to the end of this video and you'd like to continue binge watching, I have 2 additional videos for you. The top video is going to be my most recent release, and the bottom video is going to be the one that YouTube recommends for you if you'd like to continue watching.